Alright, I think that's enough for tonight. I wanna go to sleep now. Lights out.
Alright, so we have a unanimous decision for our winner, liftoff! Weapon is going, oh, and a big weapon hit! Oh! Trying to pop it, trying to give them damage. Oh!
I've got work to do. I'm back! And in my year-long hiatus from YouTube, I've carefully crafted the most unsuccessfully successful robot you'll ever see. But for that to make any sense, we've got to go back to the beginning. Remember this video? It was a while back, you should give it a look. I finally learned how to make one that was shorter and not too boring. Anyway, that's Liftoff V3 and it sucked. Number 1, its drive was too slow. I mean, look at this, how am I supposed to outmaneuver anyone when I'm slower than a PS Vita? Number 2, its weapon was too exposed. A couple hits from Death Punch just broke the weapon. That geometry is available for any horizontal spinner to come and hit, so I needed to rework that. Number 3, the weapon had more bark than bite. I mean, these are my best hits from the day. Total damage ended up being a broken gearbox and a bent wedge. Not enough. And number 4, I can't self-right. Losing a fight because you get stuck upside down's a pretty shitty way to go, so that's gonna need fixed too. So using these main 4 faults, I'm going to lay out some specific design goals. Allegedly they're pretty helpful, so let's see if that's true. SPG number 1 is a quick drivetrain. So Dispatch, my first bot, was very good at this, and it did podium in its only event, so I think I got something right with that. SPIG number 2 is more defensive front end geometry. The weapon needs to be better situated against horizontals, so that likely remains the return of an angled front wedge. SPIG number 3 is a larger moment of inertia weapon. Okay, yeah, that's not very specific, but it's the least important of the 4, and I can still win by judge's decision. And SPIG number 4 is the self-right using the weapon. It's simple and it's weight efficient. Good enough for me. So with that said, here's CounterPunch. In all honesty, it's as if Dispatch and all 3 versions of Liftoff got together and had a kid. Do not ask me how that works, I'm only a mechie major. It's true though, CounterPunch inherited traits from my previous builds. Let's see how those combine with the specific design goals to influence this build. Number 1, 2-wheel drive with larger wheels. 4-wheel drive was too heavy for not enough maneuverability. I couldn't justify it anymore. We went back to 2 wheels of CounterPunch, and the larger wheels mean more speed! I got it right with Dispatch, so let's bring it back. Number 2, a large wedge in the front that has the weapon tucked back behind it. So this is similar to Dispatch, except for now it's got Liftoff's weapon hub and weapon system. And that should work pretty well, considering Dispatch is only fight against a horizontal, the weapon sustained no damage beyond normal wear. Number 3, a nice large AR500 blade. So the weight I saved by 3D printing the frame and going back to 2-wheel drive allow me to put more weight into a larger weapon. And number 4, the weapon is able to hit the ground when upside down. These prongs here limit to what degree, so that way the weapon can actually get going from a dead stop, as I did find out in testing.
So now you're going to show us an epic build montage. You're going to show a build montage, right?
I mean... Well, now the CounterPunch is all complete. It's only one thing left to do. Go fight it. So I took it to November Necrosis 2022. Yes, this video is long overdue. First fight of the day was against a frame with a big sign on it called Open House. For that one, I just threw the forks on, spun it up, and hit him a couple times. Quick fight, eventually something died. I never found out what. I'm assuming it was a receiver issue. But yeah, it was pretty quick. CounterPunch drove well, weapon had some power behind it. A little less than I would have liked, but it's better than liftoff. And I guess it was encouraging, but that wasn't the real test. The real test was unfortunately about to begin. And the real test took the form of Michelle. Photo credit to Impulse Engineering on Instagram. Incredible bot, big horizontal, which is something that really this thing was designed to handle much better. The only thing that made it interesting were the forks on the back. Meant a wedge like this would not have been optimal. So we went and YOLO'd it with the long forks. So this is it. Months of work and improvements, all for this moment. If it works, awesome. It was worth it. If not, wasted and back to the drawing board. With that said, here we go.
All right, Michelle, are you ready? All right, field control is ready. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1, fight! All right, CounterPunch getting out quickly, trying to get under, and those longer forks paying off. They've been able to get under Michelle, not able to deliver the weapon, but Michelle so low, they're going to get stuck all the time because they have very, very little ground clearance. And looks like Michelle might be sagging a little bit in the middle, and that's really affecting their ability to keep moving. Oh, and we got a big pop. That may improve the geometry on Michelle. Let's see if that bent Michelle back the way it needed to be. Michelle's still struggling with that seam, and here comes, and CounterPunch getting in there, but in the meantime, Michelle able to come and capitalize on that inbound. So Michelle now taking some leadership, but no, there we have fourth jam. So if this happens, those forks are so long, but another big pop from CounterPunch. So CounterPunch with a couple of big pops, Michelle with one. So far CounterPunch showing dominance in this fight, but Michelle, another big pop from CounterPunch.
Oh, my weapon hub
Michelle keep taking that kind of punishment. I'll say it. Michelle, we have a big piece missing. I didn't see what came off.
Let it go. Don't let it go.
And that's a tight foul. All right. So Michelle lost a crucial piece
okay,
of the
Ryan?
robot.
Yeah. It worked! All the specific design goal crap, it actually did something. I had the matchup, and this thing won! Yes, the weapon hub did break. That's because I made those with SLS 3D printed hubs, not normal FDM. My fault. The current one here is FDM. They're going to be FDM from now on. I don't know why I did SLS. That was the only time I've done SLS. Anyway, besides that, drove well. The weapon didn't take a horizontal hit that shattered everything, so that survived. And that was just a great sign that all the changes I made paid off, and that this thing has got potential. So now to the rest of the event. My third fight was against Thagomizer. You can see that it ended up being pretty quick, and Thagomizer is just a beast. I did not have a big wedge like this for that fight. I have made this since then by bending this titanium with a Bunsen burner. It was fun. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of that. In my next fight, fourth fight in the losers bracket now, was against Wedge 1 and Wedge 2, and that was just bad luck between eating up duct tape in the weapon and then not any warning on the pit release, and that was CounterPunch's first event at 2-2, which is quite disappointing, but one loss was Thagomizer. Okay, fine, right? And one fight was just fluke. So, yeah. I did do one more grudge match, and I broke another weapon hub in that, just so I knew that it wasn't a hit from Michelle. It was the fact that I made them out of SLS. But CounterPunch, I think it's my way to go. I will confirm this now. It has fought once more since then. That will not be in this video. You're gonna have to wait for that one. And that makes CounterPunch the first robot I've brought to multiple events. So this is my go-to from now on. I cannot wait for you to see the fights I've had since November of last year. And I'm actually going to be fighting this January with CounterPunch, this current version. And there's been a couple changes made since the original that you're seeing footage of right now, but that's for down the road. So, one more thing, I will be uploading the video with just the fights all together. If you want to see all the fights, there are actually some pretty good ones, and they're relatively short, so hope you enjoy that too. But for now, that's everything. Thank you for watching, and peace out.